The Dark Night of the Soul by St. John of the Cross. Book 2, Chapter 19, begins to explain the 10 steps of the mystic ladder of divine love, according to St. Bernard and St. Thomas. The first 5 are here treated. We observe, then, that the steps of this ladder of love by which the soul mounts, one by one, to God, are 10. The first step of love causes the soul to languish, and this to its advantage. The bride is speaking from this step of love when she says, "I adjure you, daughters of Jerusalem, that if you find my beloved, you tell him that I am sick with love." This sickness, however, is not unto death, but for the glory of God. For in this sickness the soul swoons as to sin, and as to all things that are not God, for the sake of God himself, even as David testifies, saying, "My soul hath swooned away," that is, with respect to all things, for thy salvation. For just as a sick man first of all loses his appetite and taste for all food, and his color changes, so likewise in this degree of love the soul loses its taste and desire for all things, and changes its color and the other accidentals of its past life, like one in love. The soul falls not into this sickness if excess of heat be not communicated to it from above, even as it is expressed in that verse of David which says, "Pluviam voluntariam segregabis Deus hereditati tuae, et infirmata est," etc. You shall set aside for your inheritance a free rein, O God, and it was weakened, but thou hast made it perfect. This sickness and swooning to all things, which is the beginning and the first step on the road to God, we clearly described above, when we were speaking of the annihilation wherein the soul finds itself, when it begins to climb this ladder of contemplative purgation, when it can find no pleasure, support, consolation, or abiding place in anything soever. Wherefore, from this step it begins at once to climb to the second. The second step causes the soul to seek God without ceasing. Wherefore, when the bride says that she sought him by night upon her bed, when she had swooned away, according to the first step of love, and found him not, she said, "I will arise and will seek him whom my soul loveth." This, as we say, the soul does without ceasing, as David counsels it, saying, "Seek you ever the face of God, and seek you him in all things, tarrying not until you find him," like the bride, who having inquired for him of the watchmen, passed on at once and left them. Mary Magdalene did not even notice the angels at the sepulchre. On this step the soul now walks so anxiously that it seeks the beloved in all things. In whatever it thinks at once of the beloved. Of whatever it speaks, in whatever matters present themselves, it is speaking and communing at once with the beloved. When it eats, when it sleeps, when it watches, when it does anything whatsoever, all its care is for the beloved, as is said above with respect to the yearnings of love. And now, as love begins to recover its health and find new strength in the love of this second step, it begins at once to mount to the third, by means of a certain degree of new purgation in the night, as we shall afterwards describe, which produces in the end the following effects. The third step of the ladder of love is that which causes the soul to work and gives it fervor so that it does not fail. Concerning this, the royal prophet says, "Blessed is the man that fears the Lord, for in his commandments he is eager to labor greatly. Wherefore if fear, being the son of love, causes within him this eagerness to labor, what will be done by love itself? On this step the soul considers great works undertaken for the beloved as small, many things as few, and the long time which it serves him as short, by reason of the fire of love wherein it is now burning. Even so to Jacob, though after 7 years he had been made to serve 7 more, they seemed few, because of the greatness of his love. Now, if the love of a mere creature could accomplish so much in Jacob, what will love of the Creator be able to do, when on this 3rd step it takes possession of the soul? Here, for the great love which the soul bears to God, it suffers great pains and afflictions, because of how little it does for God. And if it were lawful for it to be destroyed 1,000 times for him, it would be comforted. Wherefore it considers itself useless in all that it does, and thinks